The emperor, the empress, the crown prince, the minister, and the general all have their own enemies they would like to finish off at a night banquet. The most heartbreaking moment comes when an innocent soul, someone with no connection to their cruel and selfish games, loses her life. During the last days of the Tang Dynasty, China breaks apart and falls into chaos. This time is called the 5 Dynasties and 10 Kingdoms. Many small kingdoms rise and fall, each trying to take control. Betrayal is common among officials and leaders. Loyalties change quickly, and alliances are made and broken without warning. In the imperial family, the fight for power grows stronger as family members turn against each other. The time is filled with unrest, and power keeps shifting. Against this backdrop, our story begins. A love story has broken out between a young crown prince Wu Luan and the maiden who goes by the name Little Wan. But his father, the emperor, marries Little Wan for himself. Because of this, Prince Wu Luan disappears to a secluded theater troupe in the remote area of the city to focus on music and dance. 3 years later, Prince Wu Luan's uncle has killed his brother, the emperor, and takes the throne and the empress. The palace becomes even more dangerous under his rule. Empress Wan, determined to act, secretly sends her messengers to warn Prince Wu Luan of the assassination and urge him to return. The messenger reads out the letter, and Wu Luan mourns his father. Though their relationship is strained, the loss of his father deeply affects him and forces him to face his role as the crown prince. Meanwhile, the emperor sends assassins to eliminate Wu Luan. The assassins arrive at the theater where Wu Luan resides. They attack without mercy, killing the performers and the defenseless dancers. Messengers sent to warn Wu Luan attempts to intervene, but the assassins kills them as well. Only the chief messenger manages to escape. Since everyone was wearing masks, they assumed Wu Luan was among the dead. However, he survived the attack and hid in a nearby river. The next day, Wu Luan returns to the imperial court and is stunned by what he sees. Through a small opening, he spies his uncle, the new emperor, intimately involved with Little Wan, his former lover. Later, Wu Luan is approached by Qing Nu, who is still officially engaged to him. This moment might confuse first-time viewers, since Qing Nu had referred to the late emperor as her father. While Qing Nu and Wu Luan are clearly related, they are not siblings. Their romantic relationship reflects the cultural norms of the time, where marriages between cousins and relatives were accepted in Chinese traditions. Wu Luan asks Qing Nu if there are scorpions in the palace, and she cryptically replies that the palace has everything. She also informs him that Empress Wan, his former lover, is about to be crowned empress again, officially becoming the wife of his uncle, the new emperor. That night, Wu Luan secretly visits the empress's quarters. When she sees him, she rushes to embrace him, but it's clear he is upset about the situation. He coldly addresses her as his stepmother, which leads to an emotional outburst. Empress Wan tries to explain her actions, sparking a heated argument between the former lovers. Despite the tension, the confrontation ends on a calmer note, revealing that Little Wan still holds some respect and affection for Wu Luan. The emperor overhears the conversation between the two former lovers and realizes for the first time that Wu Luan is alive and has returned to reclaim the throne. Enraged by this revelation, he silently walks away, boiling with fierce anger. The next day, the emperor orders the assassins who failed to kill Wu Luan to take their own lives, promising to spare their families in return. This ruthless act sends a clear message that he will stop at nothing to eliminate the crown prince and secure his rule. The emperor clearly demands absolute loyalty and surrounds himself with cabinet members who readily provide it. First on the list is Yin Taichang, father of Qing Nu's Wu Luan's official fiancé. The emperor openly praises Yin's loyalty in front of his officials and generals while dismissing Wu Luan, mocking him as someone who only knows how to sing and dance. Tension runs high in the palace. When a palace official who hates the new emperor dares to challenge the emperor and addresses Empress Wan as Empress Dowager, he and his entire family are brutally executed. Following this, Minister Yin's son is reassigned to a distant province, significantly weakening Yin Taichang's influence in the court. Yin Taichang, realizing that the crown prince might fail to reclaim the throne, urges his daughter to end her engagement with Wu Luan. He warns her that continuing to associate with the crown prince could bring ruin to their family. However, Qingnu refuses. Frustrated, he advises her to take a lesson from the Empress, who has mastered the art of shifting loyalties in difficult situations. Shortly after, while Wu Luan is resting in his chambers, he mysteriously receives a delicate illustration showing how his father was murdered by his uncle. It reveals the use of black scorpion poison, which, if blown into the victim's ear, causes uncontrollable bleeding from the eyes, ears, and nostrils. The next day, driven by this discovery, he sets out to uncover the deeper truth behind his father's mysterious death. Wu Luan goes to an apothecary, who reveals that the poison used for the murder is made from arsenic trioxide and black scorpions, telling him that nothing on earth is more deadly except for the human heart. Meanwhile, Empress Wan prepares for her upcoming coronation ceremony. As part of the court's tradition, Wu Luan is tasked with performing a swordplay demonstration during the event. During the rehearsal, only wooden swords are used at first. However, as the practice continues, the masked performer's strikes grow increasingly aggressive, their movements becoming less controlled. Wu Luan rises to the challenge, matching their intensity with precision and agility. The atmosphere grows tense as it becomes clear that this is no longer a simple rehearsal. Following the Emperor's secret orders, the performers switch to real swords, attempting to take Wu Luan's life while making it look like an accident. At the critical moment, Empress Wan intervenes, saving Wu Luan once again. Her actions enrage the Emperor, who, furious at the failed assassination attempt, takes a sword himself and kills one of the assassins for failing to carry out his orders effectively. In the next scene, the Empress and Wu Luan share a brief, emotional interaction. She questions why he hides behind a mask during his performances instead of concealing his pain, sorrow, and emotions. She warns him that if he doesn't start pretending everything is fine, the Emperor will eventually have them both killed. She also admits that she is quickly losing faith in him as the key to fulfilling her ambitions. This moment sheds light on why the Empress is so determined to keep the Crown Prince alive. It ties closely to her own hopes and dreams. On the day of the coronation, Wu Luan, an accomplished singer and dancer, performs a striking masked drama that publicly exposes his uncle as his father's killer, humiliating him in front of the entire audience. The Emperor is visibly shocked, especially by the detailed accusations Wu Luan reveals. In a bold move, he tries to cup Wu Luan's cheeks, attempting to secretly release the poison. However, Wu Luan, aware of the poison's scent and effects, steps back and accuses the Emperor outright of trying to poison him. Empress Wan, knowing that could get him killed, quickly steps in, cautioning Wu Luan to be careful. The Emperor, feeling humiliated in front of the audience, decides against killing Wu Luan outright, fearing the potential fallout. Instead, he quickly devises a plan to remove Wu Luan from the province. He decrees Wu Luan would be traded as a hostage for the prince of a neighboring kingdom, the Khitans, although it is known that the neighboring prince is not a real prince. He orders him to leave immediately under the escort of imperial guards. Empress Wan, visibly alarmed by this sudden decision, quickly begins plotting her next move. Qingnu steps forward and pleads to accompany the prince, which infuriates the Empress. In her anger, the Empress orders the guards to lock Qingnu up and punish her with 30 lashes. During the journey, the Emperor's men set up an ambush at the snowy border near the Khitan kingdom in the north. However, Yin Taichang's son, acting on the Empress's orders, intervenes and saves the prince. Yin Sun warns the prince not to return to the palace, explaining that the Emperor wants him dead and that innocent lives could be lost if he does. Meanwhile, the Empress, now seeing less value in Wu Luan for her schemes, changes her strategy. She visits the same apothecary where Wu Luan previously inquired about poison to obtain a deadly substance to kill the Emperor. While there, she asks why Wu Luan didn't take the poison during his visit. This moment confirms that the Empress was the one who secretly left the mysterious scroll in Wu Luan's quarters, revealing the truth about his father's death and implicating his uncle as the murderer. Her ultimate goal is to take the throne for herself. To achieve this, she plans to collaborate with Minister Yin Taichang and his son, Yin Sun. If anyone questions her actions, she intends to frame it as delivering divine justice for her late husband. Believing his nephew and rival, Wu Luan, is dead and his power secure, the emperor hosts a lavish banquet. When the empress points out that holding such a grand event on their 100th day of knowing each other might bring bad luck, the emperor dismisses her concern, claiming he doesn't believe in superstitions. The empress, taken aback by how deeply and passionately the emperor has fallen for her, almost feels a twinge of emotion and regret about her deadly plan for the night. Later, the minister and his son discuss the plan and how they might take advantage of the opportunity before them. The minister tells his son that if the empress successfully poisons the emperor, they could position themselves to claim the throne. However, this would require them to kill the empress immediately, framing her as a traitor for assassinating the king. Unbeknownst to them, the empress overhears their entire conversation. Smiling slyly as if she has her own plans, she quickly moves to act. She orders the court to issue a decree beforehand. In the verdict, she accuses Minister Yin and his son of abusing their power and committing tyranny. They would be stripped of their ranks and their properties confiscated when the time comes. At the banquet in the Hall of Gold, everything unfolds as planned. Dancers, musicians, and the finest performers in the empire takes the stage, creating a grand spectacle. The top cabinet members are in attendance, including Minister Yin, his son, and his daughter, Qing Nu. But Wu Luan is nowhere to be found. Later, the empress picks up the poisoned wine and rises to deliver a heartfelt speech, thanking the emperor for giving her the opportunity to become empress again. Before handing him the drink, she quietly whispers that she plans to take his life that night. Blinded by love, the emperor dismisses her words and is about to drink from the cup, unaware it contains a deadly poison made from arsenic trioxide and black scorpions, the same poison he used to kill her late husband. Everything seems to be going according to plan until Qing Nu unexpectedly takes the stage. She announces a special performance she prepared for the occasion, wearing her theater mask as a tribute to her fiancé, Wu Luan. Out of respect and a touch of pity for her, the emperor offers her the cup intended for himself. Despite subtle warnings and desperate gestures from her brother to stop, Qing Nu drinks the poisoned wine. Her father and brother clasp their hands in despair, overcome with regret and sorrow, knowing the tragic fate that awaits her. This is the most emotional moment of the movie. During the dance, Qing Nu collapses and dies on stage. Wu Luan steps forward, revealing himself to comfort her in her final moments. Her brother, still in shock, rushes to her side, embracing her as he mourns her loss. The emperor, watching in horror, realizes that the empress had indeed plotted to kill him. The emperor, still in shock, summons his chancellor. First, he orders a royal burial for Qing Nu. Before he can pronounce judgment on the empress, she tries to call on her ally, Minister Yin. However, overcome with grief, Yin angrily lashes out at her instead. Seeing an opportunity amidst the stunned crowd, Wu Luan seizes the moment to confront the emperor and end his reign. He faces fierce resistance from the imperial guards, but uses his dance-like martial arts to fight them off. However, their sheer numbers overwhelm him. Realizing he cannot defeat them all, Wu Luan calls out to the guards, urging them to stop defending the emperor. He accuses the emperor of murdering his father and unlawfully seizing the throne. The emperor, realizing how chaotic the situation has become, addresses Wu Luan. He admits that he always knew this day would come as long as Wu Luan remained alive. He confesses his uncertainty about whether Wu Luan's survival is due to the women protecting him or the restless spirit of his father seeking revenge through his son. Accepting his fate, the emperor drinks the rest of the poisoned wine and dies in his wife's arms, leaving the court in disarray after reigning for only 100 days. The empress then approaches Wu Luan, pledging her loyalty and addressing him as Your Majesty. The empress declares Wu Luan the new emperor. However, Yin's son, consumed by rage over his sister's death, lunges at the empress, intent on avenging her. His blade is intercepted by Wu Luan, but the knife is coated with poison. As Wu Luan collapses, fatally wounded, the empress swiftly kills Yin's son with a stab to the neck. Wu Luan dies in the arms of his former lover, Little Wan, while chaos consumes the court. The Lord Chamberlain proclaims Empress Wan as the Empress Regnant. In the aftermath, Minister Yin is stripped of his possessions and exiled, having lost both of his children in a single night of tragedy. In the final scene, Empress Wan speaks proudly of the flames of desire she has quenched by claiming the throne, reflecting on her humble beginnings and her quiet, determined rise from a nobody to the highly coveted status of the emperor. But as she celebrates her triumph, a blade, the crown prince's blade, suddenly strikes her. Wounded and dying, she turns to see her attacker. Her expression shifts from confusion, surprise, betrayal, and anguish before she dies. In the end, the identity of the mysterious assassin remains unknown, leaving everyone in suspense. Actually, there is no suspense here, because the murderer is definitely Wu Luan, who faked his death the night of the banquet. Thank you so much for watching. This is a new channel, and we are striving to stay motivated and afloat. Your support would definitely go a long way. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and ring the notification bell.